Good morning, New York Mets Nation, and welcome to the Bat Cave. I'm your host, the Bat Fry, Kenny Fry. I hope everybody's having a terrific hump day so far. Mine's halfway over, to be honest with you. Working night shift. It's, my hump day was a while ago. So I'm ready. I'm ready to hit the sack and move on to Thursday. So it's Mets season finally winding down. It's been a long season, unfortunately, but sometimes that's the way the cards fall. I've mentioned it a million times already, over and over and over again, about how much of a rough season it's been. But we all can't be the Atlanta Braves where you win divisions every year, but losing the playoffs early on. So we do our losing during the race. Got a couple comments here. We got Coffee Milk. All right, Coffee Milk. Hey, Kenny, how you doing, Coffee Milk? I really I dig your name. I am my dad's a huge coffee guy. Loves coffee. He loves regular coffee. He doesn't like what he calls fancy coffee, which is anything with like different flavors or whatever. He just straight up coffee. A little bit of cream, a little bit of sugar. So I put milk in my coffee, and he goes, "Ew, milk in your coffee." I like milk in my coffee over regular just cream. Now, occasionally I'll use like a specialty creamer or whatever. Like right now in the refrigerator, we have a honey cinnamon something or other creamer in the refrigerator right now. And actually, we use that to make French toast. But I also, if I'm having some Monkey Cold coffee, bourbon chocolate chip infused coffee, I'll throw a splash of that in there. But if I'm drinking the Sumatran blend, I go straight milk and a little bit of sugar. But yeah, hey, Coffee Milk. Then there's our boy Adam Glenn. What's up, buddy? I hope you're feeling better. I know you said you were a little bit under the weather last week. I missed you on a couple shows. I was starting to worry. I was going to send out a search party for you, but there you are. It's good seeing you, buddy. Coffee Milk says the Mets forgot the tarp. Somebody going to get fired. There's a lot of people that should get fired in the Mets organization. But, I mean, so I didn't see the story. That this is actually the first I'm hearing about it. But if this is something that actually happened, well, then somebody should be in probably a little bit of trouble in the grounds crew. Because as far as I know, like here in Pennsylvania, it wasn't raining all that hard. It was just one of those annoying mists. Like it was like, I was at my daughter's junior high soccer game, and it just continuously misted. It was like a constant mist, and it wasn't anything that was, awful to sit through. It's just annoying. So there was no reason they couldn't have played a baseball game unless, again, I'm in Pennsylvania. The game was going to be in New York. So if it was the heavier rain there or steadier rain, it wouldn't have mattered anyway. Why not? Play two. What the hell? Doesn't really matter. Scroll back up to the top here. Eileen, what's up, Eileen? Whoop, whoop, hump day. I hope you're doing well, Eileen. I hope you're not working hard. There he is, my partner in crime on the Atomic Drop podcast, Cowboy Dave, the showstopper. Cowboy Dave, what's going on, brother? Do you think they did it on purpose? Who knows? They could use an extra day's rest before they finish off this season run here. You never know, Coffee Milk. You never know. There would have been stranger things to have happened, in baseball throughout the annals of history than a team forgetting or on purposely not putting a tarp out to kind of just say, you know what, let's do this tomorrow. Adam says, how does it feel to be swept by the Phillies? You know what, Adam? To be honest with you, it was a pretty good series. I got to watch a couple of the games. I didn't see the whole series. Obviously followed along the whole series, but I didn't get a chance to watch the whole series. It was a pretty good series. It's a competitive series. It went back and forth. You know what? And where we're at in our season and where the Phillies are at in their season, it went kind of how you expected. And, congratulations to the Phillies on clinching their wild card spot. I believe that was yesterday. And a lot of teams better watch out. That's all I got to say. Last year, I felt more confident in the Phillies last year. I feel like their starting pitching was better last year. Their bullpen was pretty hot near the end of the season last year. This year, I'm not quite as confident as I am with the Phillies, but yeah, it's everybody starts off 0-0 when you get to the playoffs, right? So, hey, there he is, Vegas Rob, the mayor of Las Vegas. What's up, buddy? I'm not going to say the hashtag. I'll say hashtag Phillies, but I'm not saying that other hashtag. I can't stand it. Beautiful day in Sin City. Hate that hashtag. Not the Phillies one, the other one. Hey, there's Chris from CPNY Sports. How you doing, buddy? You can check Chris out on a whole bunch of different shows. He does a Knicks show, a Giants show. He also does multiple Mets shows. If you're ever looking for Chris, you can check him out on all social media, CPNY Sports. You know, that's I'm not sure if he's on Facebook. Definitely on YouTube at CPNY Sports. The Twitter, or formerly Twitter, now it's now X, at CPNY Sports. Lots of great content from Chris. And also, you know, our boy Nelson from at the Amish Country Mets fan. So make sure you check those guys out. A lot of great stuff they do. I have to take a listen to Mets Roundtable. I'll probably do that tomorrow night at work. Coffee Milk says is a New Hampshire only drink. They use coffee, syrup, and milk. Imagine chocolate milk, but it tastes. Oh man, that sounds awesome. I didn't know that was a thing. To be honest with you, Coffee Milk. Coffee, syrup, and milk. Damn, I am missing out. I love coffee flavored stuff. I love the smell of coffee, the taste of coffee, anything coffee. I dig, but coffee syrup I never heard of. That sounds fantastic. I'm digging that, Coffee Milk. I think it says it wasn't raining yesterday in New York City. I don't know what the hell. What did they not put on the tarp the night before then? Like, I don't understand what happened. That's odd. Adam says beat Pottsville. Are you talking soccer? I don't know. I'm not sure what your Pottsville's our home. If anybody that's watching doesn't know, Adam Glenn's from Pottsville. I'm from Pottsville. Beat Pottsville. Like my kids go to Blue Mountain now. That was a rival. Yeah, I was when I was growing up. Our biggest rival was Blue Mountain, so I was brought up to beat Blue Mountain. That's a hate Blue Mountain, beat Blue Mountain. Now I am the Blue Mountain, so which is makes me want to throw up when I think about it. But now I root for Blue Mountain and everything except for football. Adam says yes. All right. I don't think the junior high team plays Pottsville, but I'm sure you're talking about the varsity team. So, yeah, good luck to them, and hopefully they beat Pottsville. Let's kick this show off. Like I said earlier, so when we did my show last week, we're in the midst of a series, a big series, a huge series for the Marlins. And, the Mets took 2 out of 3 against the Marlins. There's a big series for the Marlins because they're right in the hunt for that highly contested wild card race. The Phillies were, at that time, I think, a +3 in the number 1 spot. I don't remember if Miami was right behind them or they were 2 behind them. It was Miami was in the mix. I think they were in the top 3 at the time of that series. When the Mets come in, they take 2 out of 3 against Miami. Another really good series. Mark Vientos, a great series, that series. So really starting to come into his own, it seems like. Vientos has been recently at the plate anyway. That final game, like I talked games last week. So that final game, Kodai Senga comes in. Really, I want to see the dude get 200 strikeouts. He only gets 3 strikeouts. It's inching towards it, but he's only going to get 1 more start, it seems like. So, and that's today in the second half of the doubleheader. And so hopefully he gets, I think he needs 6 more strikeouts to hit 200. So hopefully he gets that. I think he will. I wouldn't be surprised if he hits double digits this time. But, each time you go out and face the same team over and over again, it gets harder and harder to get all those strikeouts. But I think he'll get it tonight against the Miami Marlins in New York. So yeah, the Mets take 2 out of 3. Marlins drop out of the top 3 in the wild card, which is great. Like I said, one of the things that if your team's out of it, you kind of push for. There's like a certain individual types, milestones or stats that you're looking to hit. Like I said about that Francisco Lindor 30 club, as he's inching towards that. Pete Alonso probably not going to get 50, but slowly inching towards that. Kodai Senga, the 200 strikeouts. The Mets playing spoilers, another big part of it as well. If they're not going to win, making to the playoffs, beat your division rivals. Don't let them get into playoffs either. Now it was going to be a stretch for them to knock the Phillies out of the playoffs. I get that because they were pretty far ahead, not pretty far, but like 3 or 4 games ahead, in the number 1 spot of the wild card anyway. So it would have been kind of tough to knock them totally out of it. But I was hoping they'd make it a little bit tougher for the Phillies. Didn't go that way. So against the Phillies, they just got slapped. They got up and I shouldn't say that. They didn't get slapped up and down the field. They got swept, but each game was really competitive. They were good games. They were back and forth games. I don't know if it was – I can't remember. I think it was game 2. We had the bases loaded. Pete Alonso up, 2 outs. I can't remember if it was 8th or 9th inning, but he struck out. It was so – I'm watching this. I'm like, come on, Pete. You're looking for that big contract. Show them I can step up in big spots. Even though their season's done, just one time. Come on, Pete. And he struck out. It's like, oh my God, that's the Mets season in a nutshell. They're just the expectations. That sit on the edge of your seat, waiting for them to turn it around. Like this is it. This is going to be it. It just doesn't come. It's a letdown after letdown after letdown, which is what this whole season has been. Every time you think the Mets turn a corner, there's a series of letdowns. So, and perfect example there is, when they take 2 out of 3 against the Marlins. The series before, I think, was against the Reds. I think it was against the Reds. They didn't do so well against the Reds, but then the series before that was against another wild card team. I think the Diamondbacks. And they spanked the Diamondbacks pretty good. So, it's every time you think they turn a corner, they take a step back. They turn the corner, take a step back. It's kind of frustrating. But against Philly, they get swept by Philly in 4 games. Pete goes 1 for 17. A few of our big bats kind of struggled. Lindor, he did have a home run in the series, but I think he only had 2 or 3 hits out of, I think, 17 or 18 at-bats. Or 16, 17, 18 at-bats, somewhere around there. Jose Quintana, who's been pitching really well this season since coming off the IL, he gave up 5 earned runs in 6 innings pitched. I think that was probably his roughest outing of the season, or pretty close to it anyway. Most of his outings are 6 or 7 innings pitched, 3 earned runs or less. He's pitched fantastic. It was quality start after quality start after quality start for Jose Quintana. This time, not so much. 5 earned runs still give you 6 innings, which is great for your bullpen. 10 strikeouts, but the 5 earned runs helped if your offense isn't going to score a lot of runs. Jose Butto went out. He's been pitching well the back half of this season here. The opportunities that he's gotten, he went out there 4 innings pitched, 4 earned runs. He got knocked around a little bit. The Phillies team is offensively very, very good. And like I said, the biggest thing that gives me pause with the Phillies right now is their starting pitching and their bullpen. Like last year, I felt like Nola and Wheeler coming into the back half of that season, back half of the season last year, Ranger Suarez, they were pitching very, very good. And the bullpen was on fire going into the playoffs. And this year, I just don't feel like that. I mean, I haven't been following the Phillies as close as I did last season with the Mets being in the playoffs. And what happens if they play the Phillies, that kind of thing. I never got to that point anyway. But this year with the Mets being out, I haven't really followed the Phillies too much besides hoping that they lose every damn day. It doesn't happen. And having to listen to my daughter tease me constantly about it because she's a Phillies fan. So yeah. Let's see here. Coffee Milk says Citi Field forgot the tarp. The infield looked like a swamp. I mean, with a hurricane coming through, was it Hurricane Ophelia or whatever the hell it was that just came through? I mean, that's not a good thing. I know in Pennsylvania we got a lot of rain the last few days, probably since we were supposed to have a softball. My daughter's supposed to have a softball tournament this past weekend, and it was canceled. It was just rain from Saturday until pretty much yesterday. Like I said, yesterday was a mist, but each day it was just almost like a constant rain or a misting or drizzle. And I'm sure it was the same way in New York City. There, it's it's right off the coast. It's an island, so I'm sure they got the same type of weather that we got here, that New Jersey got, which was just constant rain. And so to forget the tarp, even one of those days is just not a good thing. So it's not a good thing. Adam says, I'm not even going to try to guess what that is. Night at the Eagle's Nest. Is that oh man, I can't even. You're going to have to. I can't decipher that, Adam. You're going to have to go ahead and give me a spell check on that one. Oh yeah, are you trying to say homecoming night, or is it? I don't know. Coffee Milk says the Marlins are finished. Luis Ariz was limping really bad. Oh, see, I didn't see that. And I was going through my ESPN app, looking like current news and stuff like that, see if there was anything big. And speaking of big news, just want to send out my condolences to the family of Brooks Robinson, Hall of Fame third baseman from the Baltimore Orioles, passed away yesterday, 86 years old. One of the, if not the greatest third baseman of all time. So thoughts and prayers to his family. I know they're big fans of the show. Not really, but I say that about everybody. You just never know. Somebody's watching. Like, I watch the Bat Cave all the time. I just, because I'm famous, I don't want to comment. Maybe they're watching. You don't know. The finally out today. What the hell is that? The sun finally out today. I'm looking like, looks like a little spider, like the spider finally out. The sun came out just a little bit ago here. Actually, it was kind of overcast in Schuylkill County. But when I was taking the kids to the bus stop and the boy to preschool, the sun was out and he was all excited. He's like, "Dad, the sun's out." It's like, yeah, we were starting to get rickets here. A deficiency, a vitamin. What do you get from the sun? Vitamin D or something like that, or C or whatever the hell it is you get from the sun. Where we were having a deficiency of it, and we had rickets, and we were starting to get all crinkled up and stuff. So it was nice to see the sun for a couple minutes. It's not out now. It's looks like it's all cloudy and overcast again. Tomorrow night at home. Dave Arnett says, who'd have thought both Mets and the Yanks? Who'd have thought? Okay, who'd have thought both Mets and Yanks would be out of the playoff picture? Wow, crazy. Yeah, and that, you know what, Dave? If I was a betting man, in which sometimes I am, and I did bet on this on FanDuel, where you can bet who's going to make the playoffs, division winners, blah blah blah. I bet the Mets and the Yankees were going to make the playoffs. I don't think I bet them being on division winners, but I did have them making the playoffs. Half the teams I picked to make the playoffs didn't make the playoffs. So, the Padres, I had them picked to make the playoffs and a division winner. And who would have thought that they would, stink to join up as well? It's a lot of teams really did not play up to expectations this year. Not just only the Mets or the Yankees, for one reason or another. Either just not gelling right, injuries, just stupid stuff. Underperforming. It happens. Year by year. That's why you play the games. So, but Mets and Yankees, it's crazy that neither team from New York is going to be in the playoffs this year. Especially last season, Mets winning 101 games. Yankees having a pretty good season. I think they made it to the ALCS last year, right? I think I'm right with that. I don't know. Yeah, because I think they lost to Houston in the ALCS last year. I don't know. My memory isn't the greatest, so I wouldn't bet on it. But the Sun, I figured it out. I figured it out. No, it came up black for some reason. You think the sun would come up yellow, but it was black, a black dot, like the black hole sun. Black hole sun, won't you come wash away the rain? Black hole sun. If Soundgarden ever wants to get back together and they need a singer, I'm here. They know it. She told Dave weeks ago the Yankees would not make the playoffs. It's still surprising to me the Yankees didn't make the playoffs, but it's such a competitive. The AL East was so competitive this year that it's surprising, but it's not surprising. I mean, they're still probably going to get 3 playoff teams out of the AL East. They already have 2: the Orioles and the Rays. The Blue Jays fighting for a spot. There's a chance they can make it in. So I mean, they're a really good chance. I'll talk about the wild card standings in a little bit, but it's a very competitive division. So it's not overly surprising the Yankees didn't make the playoffs because somebody was not going to make it. You're not going to get 4 teams, I don't think, out of a division making the playoffs. That'd be insane. Let's move on here to Coffee Milk. I still love the name. I just fantastic. Aaron Judge called out the Yankees in the media. I didn't see this. Aaron Judge says, we have a lot to figure out this winter. Leadership or clubhouse cancer. Probably, I'd say that's being a leader. You know what? That's stepping up and saying, hey, you know what? We weren't good enough this year. We got a lot to figure out, and there's some changes that have to be made. And I would call that leadership. I don't know, Eileen, you're a Yankees fan, or anybody else. How would you perceive that if your top player came out and said, we have a lot of things to figure out this winter? Would you consider that a leadership type move, or would you consider that drama inducing clubhouse cancerous type of move? I look at that as kind of a leadership type thing because he is the leader of the team. Now, if it was somebody like Kiner Falefa, every time it's a funny name. Kiner Falefa is a funny name. If he comes out and he says it, maybe it's perceived a little bit different because it's Aaron Judge. He's your leader. He's your captain. That's stuff that I think leaders and captains are supposed to say. We have to get better. We have stuff to figure out. So that's not too surprising. I think that's leadership type in my opinion anyway. Don't quit your night job. Well, if I don't get fired first, I'm telling you, this is voice. I'm like the next coming of Burt Bacharach or somebody like that, or the next coming of Weird Al Yankovic. Right here, baby. I'm singing Amish Paradise next time. First time since 2014, both teams didn't make the playoffs. They've been pretty good over the last few years, but none of the Yankees or the Mets haven't been able to get over the top and actually make a run at the Mets back in 15 or 16 when they went to the World Series and lost to Kansas City. So, but both teams have had some pretty good teams over the last 7, 8, 9 years. This year is a shit show. Eileen says that's leadership. He's captain and stating the obvious. I agree. So moving on, like I said, getting their asses spanked by Philly. We'll move on from that because we don't need to talk about that too much more. So kind of looking ahead to their next couple games here. We got 3 against the Marlins, the Miami Marlins, the Fish, and then we got 3 against the Phillies to close out the season and put this abomination to bed. So tonight we have, or today I should say, we have Lucchesi versus Braxton Garrett. Lucchesi this year, 3-0, 2.88 ERA, 128 WHIP. His last time out, lost to the Marlins and Braxton Garrett, 4-3. Pitched 5 2/3 innings, 2 earned runs, 5 Ks. Pretty good game. not a bad game there. Braxton Garrett pitched better, though. 6 innings, no one runs, 7 Ks. His season so far, 9-6, 3.53 ERA, and a 1.14 WHIP. He's having a pretty good season, Braxton. I know. So if you haven't watched the show, your first time, like Coffee Milk, first time watching the show, way back, I think I started in like January. Each week I was breaking down the NL East position by position, who I thought were the better players to the bottom. And then I did the records, where I thought the records were going to be, where they were going to finish and all that stuff. And the Marlins, I really gave a hard time just because a lot of their guys I've never heard of. I'm not one of those fanatics where I deep dive into like stuff. I know stats off the top of my head. I know this player this player that. That's not me. I don't have the time for it, and I don't really have the want-to dive. I'm just a huge fan of the Mets. Love the Mets. I don't know the ins and outs of every team or even of the Mets. I listen to a lot of podcasts. I also I read articles and stuff like that. And that's where I get my information from. I rely on the, different venues or, like to feed me information and especially with in the farm system. But anyway, back in the beginning of the season, I broke down each position. For most of those positions, it was, it would go Braves, Phillies, Mets, or Braves, Mets, Phillies, Mets, Braves, Phillies, Braves, and then the bottom two were always the Marlins and the Nationals. Well, spank my ass, Red. Here we are, where the Mets are fighting to stay out of last place with the Nationals, and the Marlins are fighting for playoffs. So kudos to the Marlins on their season, even if they don't make the playoffs. I still think it was a pretty positive season for the Marlins. Now, with that being said, I'd like to see the Mets sweep their asses and get their asses out of the playoffs. So that's what I'd like to see. So that's game 1 today. Game 2, we have Kodai Senga again going against I don't know who. I checked a couple times on ESPN. The Marlins didn't have a starter listed for the second game yet. Senga this year having a terrific season, 12-7, 2.96 ERA, 194 Ks. So he's 6 strikeouts short of 200. I think he gets it today. This will be probably his last opportunity to do that. I don't think they would start him on short rest against the Phillies the last game of the season. But you never know. It's like I said, it's a big deal, but is it? I don't know. If he comes up one short, maybe he comes out for like a relief appearance to maybe get to. I don't know. It depends on how big of a deal you view it as. I think when your team sucks ass, milestones like that are a big deal. So individual milestones, which 200 strikeouts is it's not a team stat. That's an individual stat, but it really puts the icing on top of a pretty good cake. 122 whip for Kodai Senga. So, like I said, terrific season for him no matter what happens to this game today. And then the third game tomorrow, we have David Peterson against Luzardo. Luzardo, 15 – no, I didn't write down Luzardo's. Internet went out there for a second. So, real quick story here. The last show I did was the Silver and Black layer on Saturday, and I was having some internet issues. I think it was Saturday, Friday or Saturday. I don't know what the hell it was. But it was Friday. It was Friday night. I was having internet issues, and my internet was kicking off and going over to my printer internet, and that was it was going over to my printer internet, and it's like, so I had to keep, going back and forth. So I was able to kick off my printer internet off of my laptop here. But, like right now I'm connected to my home Wi-Fi, and hopefully it stays that way for now. I know, like I said, it's overcast, so I don't know if that has anything to do with it. And I am 2 or 3 rooms over from the from the Wi-Fi box, the little tower gimmick, whatever you call it. And frustrating. Stacy Northrup. Good morning, Stacy. You can check Stacy out on the Big Blue Power Hour. I believe that's going to be on Sundays now, I think I read. I think 11:30 a.m. or something like that. I'll go over the show schedule at the end of the show here. But talking New York Giants football on the Big Blue Power Hour with Danny on Wheels and Evan and our boy Coffee Milk here, or girl, says buffering. Hopefully I'm not buffering right now. Hopefully I'm not just talking to myself or I'm going to be really annoyed. So hopefully it's not buffering right now. And so after our 3 games with the Marlins, like I said, we finished 3 off with the Phillies. The Phillies are already clinched. So they're not really playing for anything. So you have to figure that they're going to try to set up their the rotation a little bit. So I have written down the probable starters for that series, but I would expect maybe that to change a little bit. So I have Taijuan Walker versus Tylor Megill. Taijuan Walker versus Tylor Megill. Taijuan Walker, former Met last season, having a pretty good season with the Phillies. 15-5, 4.35 ERA against Tylor Megill. 8-8, 4.92 ERA. Tylor Megill really struggling this year. I had high hopes for Tylor Megill. I think if the Mets keep him, I think he's a bullpen guy, long relief, a spot starter. I think that's it. I can't see them keeping him in the rotation. It'd have to be a drastic change. The game 2, you have Chris Sanchez versus Jose Butto. So it'd be nice to see Jose Butto get another start in before the end of the season. And then to finish the season off for the Mets, it'd be Aaron Nola. For the Phillies, 12-9, a 4.46 ERA versus Lucchesi. And that's another guy I'd like to see at least one more time this season, Joey Lucchesi. And after today. So that's that. Those are the starters listed. I expect that stuff to change, but we'll see what happens. I don't expect Nola to go. Well, maybe, I don't know. Because they have nothing to play for. Do they give him the extra rest for the playoffs or the first round? Not really sure. Brother John checking in. Are you supposed to be working? Is there concrete or some sort of demo to be done? What are you doing? Saying I need black rims for that new truck. I did get a new truck 2 Fridays ago. And black rims would actually look pretty cool on it. So I agree. Coffee Milk says Starling Marte's simulated game was also scratched Tuesday. Why is Marte? I don't know. I have no idea. They should just let his ass sit down, and he sat down most of the season anyway. Just finish it off on the IL and just be done with it. I'm not sure. Like the whole talk of Diaz. I mean, is it different? Obviously, different types of injuries and stuff like that. Diaz, shredding his knee in the World Baseball Classic, trying to push for the end of the, coming back to the end of the season for what? Why? Well, what's the point? Just let him, continue rehabbing and working out and stuff like that. The same thing with Marte. There's no point to it. He shouldn't be doing simulated games right now, I don't think. Shouldn't be trying to come back. Write it off, on the injured list, rehab, get ready for next season. I think he signed for a couple more years yet. Unfortunately, I'm not a big fan of Starling Marte. And I'll talk about that a little bit in a minute here. So, yeah. Hopefully I'm not buffering. Hopefully I'm still good here. So that's how the Mets are going to finish off. So fast forwarding here now to the next topic, Tommy Pham. So for those of you that know, some Mets fans out here, some other fans of the Batcave that have watched the show, know that Tommy Pham was with the Mets. He was traded at the trade deadline or around thereabouts to the Diamondbacks. And I guess recently he was doing an interview, and I'm not sure who it was with or what it was about, whatever. It doesn't matter to me. I don't care. But Tommy Pham, one of the things that was asked of him, like, what happened to the Mets this year? Well, the whole ends of the story. What happened? Is it something internal? Is it just bad luck or whatever? So Tommy Pham said that he felt like that was the least hardest working team he's ever played on. So, I mean, that's a kick in the balls right there if you're on that team. Everybody else, is already laughing at you because you're the laughing stock. You spend $10 gajillion on a baseball team this year, and you barely win 60 games, 70 games. I think we're at 71 and 80 or something like that right now. So you're already the laughing stock of the league, and you have Tommy Pham coming out saying they're the least hardest working team he's ever played for. That sucks. That's a slap in the face. And so then now all the finger pointing is coming out. Everybody's like, oh, is it this guy? Is it this guy? Is it this guy? Well, the first place that they look is Jeff McNeil. He's got a lot of blame this year. He's caught deservedly so. Going from the batting champ to hitting. He's hitting the 270s now. He's had a pretty decent last 2 months of the season, but a little too late. Too little, too late here for Jeff McNeil, for Squirrel. Which I still kind of like Jeff McNeil. I'm a fan of Jeff McNeil, but I guess saying that he's not putting the work in. That's why his season kind of went the way it went this year. So fingers are pointing at him. Then the obvious fingers are pointing at Daniel Vogelbach. I mean, I don't know if that's a fat joke or what that is. Why they poor Danny Vogelbach only gets in once every 4 days. Which I'm not a Daniel Vogelbach backer or fan at all. He's see you later, Daniel Vogelbach. That's what I say. But he's your DH. You assume he's working on hitting. Is he putting the work in the batting cage? You assume he is. But least hardest working, I kind of wonder if that was kind of a pointing at his weight there, because Tommy Pham is a fit dude. He's put together. He's in shape. You can tell he's a workaholic. He's a gym rat or whatever. But then there's also talk of Starling Marte. Is that who he's talking about? Starling Marte, who's at times this year has taken a lackadaisical approach in the outfield or at bats or running balls out. Now you have to wonder, was that injury related, or is he injured because he's not putting the work in the offseason? I don't know. It's so many fingers being pointed. The one thing Tommy Pham did say was that Francisco Lindor, Brandon Nimmo, Pete Alonso are some of the hardest working fellas, teammates that he's ever worked with. So you kind of take that with that. I mean, Mark Canha has come out stating that the reason it may look like that to Tommy is because Tommy's a nut. Tommy just works a lot and works very, very hard. And there's just some people that don't work like Tommy Pham works, which you can kind of understand that. Everybody has somebody that they know, either it's in their personal life or work life or whatever, that goes just above and beyond. And it's like there's no way you can compete with that. You just do you do your thing, and do your routine. It may look like you're not putting out the same effort that person's putting out, even though you are. Their effort's just on a different level than what your effort is. If that makes any sense, I don't know. That's just, so I think Mark Canha, may have hit the nail on the head there a little bit, because I feel like Tommy Pham is he's just one of those guys that it's constantly go, work, which is, great for him, because he's a guy that's always looking for time, and like he came to the Mets. He was a bench player. He worked his way into a starting position. Basically, over Mark Canha and some other options that were out there in left field or in the outfield period. With Starling Marte being hurt, and he has to work a little bit harder to get starts and to crack the lineup more often. So kudos to Tommy Pham on his work ethic, but it could be just one of those things that not everybody works the way you do, Tommy. It's they're putting out their max effort. It's not going to be the same as your max effort. So that could be it. But I kind of do, it makes you question it. It makes you kind of, scratch your chin, stroke your beard, kind of, wonder, is he onto something here? Because the way these guys have played this season, some of these guys, where they've started off, it makes you wonder, they kind of come strutting in this year like, oh, yeah, our owner spent, $500 million. We got, these star pitchers and, stuff like that. We're going to get another 101, 102 wins, and we're going to take the NL East, and we're going to the World Series. They kind of just walk into the room thinking they already won it. And, they got their dick slapped because they didn't put the work in. I don't know. They're just a lot of questions, a lot of head scratching, and it just kind of sucks. That's how you end the season. Talking, about Tommy Pham saying, you guys, they don't work hard. So I like Tommy Pham. I thought, he played well with the Mets. He was consistent, hit the ball hard a lot, hustled. So did everything you could ask for. Coffee Milk says Tommy Pham criticized the Mets, but can we really trust his confidence, especially considering incidents like his altercation with Jock Peterson and the nightclub? So I don't know about the nightclub stabbing. I do know about the Jock Peterson, the whole fantasy. Was it fantasy football or fantasy baseball? I don't know. Probably fantasy football. I guess Jock Peterson was talking trash to him. The message boards that they're in a league together, but they don't really know each other. And I guess Jock Peterson was talking trash on Tommy and his team at that time. Who was Tommy with? Tommy was with was he with the Giants or no? It was Jock Peter? No, I don't remember who Tommy was with, but Jock Peterson was talking trash on Tommy, and Tommy said he's gonna hit him next time he sees him, and next time they played against each other, those two teams, Tommy went over and hit him. So he's a man. He's a man of his word, I guess you could say. Also, but I don't. Yeah, like I said, but the nightclub stabbing, I don't know anything about that. But what does he get out of lying or over dramatizing it? Because he's not with the team anymore. He gets nothing out of it. Like there's nothing to gain out of it. Is what I'm trying to say. If he just overshoots or overblows a story, or makes a story where there is no story. I just think it's just one of those things where, he's a hard worker and he expects everybody to be up to his level, work ethic wise, and that's just not it. People work the way they work for a reason. That's how they got there. That's how they work. And, if Jeff McNeil feels like, hey, Tommy Pham's talking about me, maybe Jeff McNeil will work a little bit harder this offseason. So maybe he'll change something up with his routine. So I don't know. Or maybe he'll get on the Tommy Pham workout team, buy Tommy Pham's series of DVDs on working out and, do 60 minutes a day, bun crunches and stuff like that with Tommy Pham. I don't know. It's a suck ass story is what it is. In my opinion, it's kind of shitty. It's almost on the line of dickhead Max Scherzer. Just kind of, it's like, why even talk about it? Like, why is Max Scherzer talking about what the Mets GM said to him or the Mets owner said to him? It's like, why? Like, why are we talking about this? You're not even on the team anymore. There's no point to it. But that's what they talk about. They get their name in the press. Nothing to gain out of it. So I don't know why even do it, but here we are. Adam says, will the Mets trade Pete? I hope not. But like I said last week, if they decide that they cannot re-sign the man for what they want to re-sign him for, they have to trade him. They cannot let him go without getting anything in return, much like the Angels and Shohei Ohtani. I mean, hindsight being 2020 or 25-20 or 15-10, the Angels probably would have liked to have gotten rid of Ohtani at the All-Star break when his ceiling was the highest, and before the injury and stuff like that. But it is what it is. They we're making a run at it, and didn't turn out well for him, and he ends up getting hurt. They're out of the playoffs, and here we are. So I don't think they trade him, but that's something I want to talk about actually here in a minute. scenario, I think. Eileen says there's a reason Tommy Pham has been on a few teams. Maybe his attitude is why. Yeah, and that very well could be. That's something I thought about as well. Maybe that's the reason why he's I don't want to say a journeyman because I don't think he's been on that many teams, but he's bouncing around. He hasn't cracked a starting lineup. He hasn't been a part of a team for very long. Is it just because he's expendable? Just because other teams want him? I don't know. Francisco Lindor did have terrific things to say about Tommy, saying Tommy helped him, show him how to work harder. So I mean, it's just, again, it comes down to work ethic. I just think Tommy Pham's a workout freak, and not everybody is at that level. Nobody, I don't know. It's hard to explain without sounding like a moron. So I'm sounding like a moron right now. I'm stuttering through it, and I know what I want to say, but it's hard to say. It's hard to articulate. So real quick before I move on to the next topic, speaking of coffee milk, I'm going to hit up a couple sponsors here. We'll start off with the OG sponsor here, Big Al, J. Fine Law, Jason Fine. You can reach Jason Fine, attorney Big Al, at 1-800-HURT-123. That's 1-800-HURT-123. Jason Fine. J. Fine Law specializes in motor vehicle accidents, slip and falls, workman's comp, and personal injury claims. Hurt feelings by Tommy Pham's comments are not personal injury claims, so they are not covered by Jason Fine. He does not deal with hurt feelings. They have 3 office locations throughout Pennsylvania and New Jersey. So in the Garden State, we have an office in Cherry Hill, New Jersey, 3 Greensward Lane, and the number there is 856-208-5258. Then in the Steel City of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, the office is located at 500 Grant Street, Suite 2900. The phone number there is 412-365-8151. And in the city of Brotherly Love, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, the office is located at 1628 JFK Boulevard, Suite 2120. And the phone number there is 267-888-2980. That's Jason Fine. And then we got, like I said, speaking of coffee milk, we got Monkey Colt Coffee. Go to monkeycoltcoffee.com. Order your coffee there. They have the OG coffee, the bourbon chocolate chip infused coffee, which I had last night to get me through work. And then, of course, toasted coconut rum is my favorite. I really like toasted coconut rum. Their newest flavor is the Sumatran blend. I just bought that. Had a couple cups already. Very good flavor to it. A nice, robust flavor. Good coffee flavor the Sumatran blend has. They also have some decent swag. I have the coffee mug you can see there on your little screen. I have the coffee mug. I have the tumbler. I have the cold brew pitcher there. That's a pretty neat get-up, pretty neat setup they got going there. Real easy way to make cold brew, the cold brew pitcher and and stuff like that. I don't have the T-shirt because they don't have fat guy sizes yet. And also they have K-Cup adapters. So check out the T-shirt. It has a picture of Roderick, the monkey, on there, their mascot. They also have rum cake. I did have the rum cake before. The rum cake is very, very good. I dig the rum cake. So go to monkeycoltcoffee.com. Buy one of your coffees. Buy a bag of coffee. Buy yourself a coffee mug. And at checkout, use the promo code OOTB Sports. That's OOTB Sports for 10% off your order at monkeycoltcoffee.com. And then finally, our newest sponsor, Dugout Mugs. Go to dugoutmugs.com. Find your favorite baseball team, or if you want to start a collection, get all the baseball teams. They have the regular size mug, which I'll show you here in a minute. They have shortstops, which is a little bit shorter. They have different styles of the dugout mugs, or it's an ash. It's a different color, and the logos are painted. A lot of neat stuff on dugoutmugs.com. They have wine glass mugs. They have the aluminum bat mug. They have knob shots, which is like a shot glass, but it's a knob of the bat. They have coasters. They have baseballs that are cut in half for bottle openers. A lot of really, really cool things. You can also get it personalized. You can get your company's logo on there, your logo. If you have, for some reason, you have like a logo, like a family crest or something, I don't know. Your name, whatever. Use it for a bridal party. Get your wedding date on there. Christmas is right around the corner. There's always birthdays. I'm sure every day there's a birthday somewhere. So all sorts of things. They make great gifts. So go to dugoutmugs.com. And at checkout, use the promo code OOTBSports20. That's OOTBSports20 for 20% off of your order. Dugoutmugs.com. So real quick here, I got my Mets dugout mug. It's hard to see because the light's shining in through the window here, but it's pretty cool. You can see the size of it compared to my head. I have a pretty big head, so that's the regular wooden one. Here's the aluminum bat one. Again, it's as big as my head. As you can see over here, this way, I have a couple more set up there. I have Mr. Met. I have Mike Piazza's signature on the one. Son of a bitch. Buffering. It's killing me. What else? I have the Reading Fighting Phils back. I love dugout mugs. I think it's a neat product. Pretty cool. Make great gifts. Like I said, Christmas is right around the corner. Get your order in now so you have it before Christmas. And that special someone in your life will love you forever, no doubt. We got Paul Spencer checking in. What's up, Paul? He puts together this great set we got going on here, the overlays and the videos and stuff. He says, in Pittsburgh right now, meeting with Jay Fine, going over a couple of cases. Tell him the Bat Fry says hello. And if he needs any help, give me a call. The light just turned on. I have no experience whatsoever in law, so give me a call. All right, so next topic that we're going to talk about here on the Bat Cave. So Adam brought up Pete Alonso. Will the Mets trade Pete Alonso? And like I said, I hope they don't, but if they can't come to terms with Pete Alonso, they need to trade Pete, then you got to get something for him. But, here's what I'm kind of throwing here that I'm throwing out here. These are all just hypothetical numbers. I don't know what these people are asking for contracts at all. I'm just throwing stuff out. I've seen different numbers on the web and stuff like that, the interwebs and the Twitter X's and all that stuff and, whatever, the Googles and the Facebook. So the Mets are going, supposedly they're going to go after Yoshinobu Yamamoto, who used to comment on the show. I mean, granted, it wasn't the real Yoshinobu Yamamoto, but I kind of miss him. It's kind of went away. And, we haven't heard from Jung-Hoo Lee today, which is unfortunate. But it's not over yet. But anyway, so the Mets are expected to go after Yoshinobu Yamamoto, and so I started thinking, like, so he's a pitcher, he's supposedly a terrific pitcher. From everything I've been reading, I just threw a no-hitter the other day with the Mets scouts and Yankee scouts in the stands. So a few teams are going to be going after him. So he's a pitcher. They're looking to possibly re-sign Pete. And he's a hitter. So you put those two guys together, you get Shohei Ohtani. Now, Shohei Ohtani does have a bit of a better average than Pete. If you look at their stats since they both came in, their average actually is pretty comparable. Power-wise, Pete has better power numbers. This year, I think if Shohei stays healthy, it might be a little bit different. I think Shohei hits 50 home runs plus, and he was hitting over 300. I think he ended up with 44 home runs, maybe 42, 44 before going on the injured list. But anyway, so here's my thought. So if Yoshinobu Yamamoto, like some of the numbers I see thrown out there were 7 years, 8 years. So I just want 7 years, $185 million. That's $26 million per year. I'm not going to get into whole specifics like this backload. I'm not going to get into that guaranteed money, or I think baseball all contracts are guaranteed. Signing, but I'm not going to get into that signing bonuses. So if you sign Yoshinobu Yamamoto 7 years, 185 million, and Pete Alonso 7 years, 185 million, both making 26 million a year, that's $370 million. I did the math myself, and I even checked it on a calculator, so that should be correct. So that's $370 million for two players. And if you add their annual salary together, that's $52 million. If you sign just Shohei Ohtani, now some of the prices I seen for Shohei Ohtani were insane. So I kind of picked one that was in the middle because I've seen some that were 500 million. I'd seen some that were 300 million. Most of the ones I seen were 350, 385 million. So I went 7 years, just to be comparable to what I'm saying Pete and Yoshinobu Yamamoto would get. So if you go Shohei Ohtani 7 years, $385 million, then you're paying him one player $55 million a year. Where you could have two players a little bit cheaper. It's I don't know. That's just my thought on it. You get those two players. They say they're Shohei Ohtani. You put Yamamoto and Pete together. That's Shohei Ohtani right there. And Yamamoto might be a better pitcher than Shohei Ohtani from everything that I've read. He's the most decorated pitching prospect to have ever come out of the Japanese league. And, he's 25 years old, 24, 25 years old. So, that's pretty impressive. And, Pete, I think being 28, 29 years old, I think that's how old Shohei Ohtani is as well. Power numbers comparable to Shohei Ohtani. So you put those two guys together, that's Shohei Ohtani right there. $15 million cheaper, $3 million a year less. I don't know. That's just my thought on it. Because if you sign Shohei Ohtani, you're not going to sign Pete. You're not going to sign. There's a chance you can sign Yamamoto, but I just don't see it. If you sign Ohtani, Pete's gone. That's my thought on it. There was an article I was looking at before I came on. It was saying that the Ohtani market's going to come down to the Mets and Dodgers. So we'll see what happens. I'm not really high on it. I think he's a terrific player. Just actually absolutely crushes the ball. A good pitcher. Coming off Tommy John surgery, he's not going to pitch next year. So I don't know. It's tough, and it's a lot of money for one player. Yeah. So, Coffee Milk says Ohtani's like Captain Ahab's white whale to a billionaire. Yeah, for real. He said, I'd rather not sign Ohtani and purchase a retractable roof and climate control for sale. There you go. I don't know how much that would cost, but if you don't sign Ohtani, you're a little bit closer to it. But like I said, if you're going to go for Yamamoto and Pete, it's a little bit cheaper than what Ohtani may get. These are just numbers I saw online, and Moby dicking around, I guess you could say. Ahab's white whale, Moby DCI, whatever. Shohei's going to Seattle. I don't know. I was thinking Seattle. My thought, Adam, was West Coast, and I was thinking San Francisco or Seattle. I haven't heard much about San Francisco lately, so it looks like Seattle and Dodgers, but I just haven't heard a lot about Seattle lately either. It's I've been hearing more Dodgers and Mets than anything. So we'll see. I know Seattle was really the fans were pushing hard for him at the All-Star game, and but it's going to come down to money. Is Seattle going to want to put that kind of money out? We'll have to wait and see. All right. My head's all stuffed up. Last week I was a little bit sick. I'm still kind of getting over it. My head's all cloudy. Not cloudy. It's stuffy. So I occasionally got to pop my ears. Adam says, put your bet on Seattle. I wonder if FanDuel has the bet like that. I wonder, where will Ohtani go? That'd be interesting. So real quick, I got a couple more things to talk about here. I know you guys are excited. The wild card. So I'm going to go ahead and run through the wild card races here real quick. So right now, the AL wild card, you have Tampa Bay already clinched a playoff spot. I believe they're sitting 2 behind the Orioles for the East. Yeah, they're sitting 2.5 behind the Orioles for the East, but they're sitting. They clinched a spot. They're 10 games up in the wild card, so they could have that 1 seed in the wild card. But there's still a chance they could win the East and be the number 1 seed in the American League. The Blue Jays sitting in the 2nd spot right now of the wild card, 87-70, 1.5 games up ahead of Houston, and Houston's sitting in the 3rd spot, 86-72, and right behind them is Seattle at 85-72, a half game out. So it's going to be a lot of fun going down the stretch there. I think Texas. Let me check the records here for West. Texas is only 2 games up on Houston, so they're 2.5 up on Seattle. So even the AL West is still wide open for the taking. But it's going to be those 4 teams are the only teams still in contention for the wild card, 3 wild card spots. So there's going to be a really good team that's going to be left out in the cold this year. And there you go, all playoff teams. So one of those playoff teams are going to be dropped out. Now looking at the National League, the Phillies already clinched their wild card spot. Well, not spot. They wild card berth, but it's not. No, they should have the number 1 seed. They're 6 games left. They have 5 up, and so I guess 1 more win, and they'll get the number 1 seed in the wild card because they are 5. Looks like 5 games up on Arizona. Arizona's sitting at the 2 seed there for the wild card at 83-74. 1 game on top of the Cubs, who are 82-75, who had a heartbreaking loss last night. They're up 6-5, I believe it was. Ball hit out to Seiya Suzuki. Called for it, put his hand out. I got it. Just missed it. Dude missed it. Braves scored 2 runs in the 8th and ended up winning that game. So huge loss for the Cubs. A bummer. I know they had a hell of a stretch here at the end of the season. A lot of tough games. Playing the Braves. I think the Brewers as well. Just a really tough schedule season. Then you have the Miami Marlins, 81-7.5 game out of the final spot. The Reds are still in it, 81-77 in a game and a half out of the final spot. And even those San Diego Padres still have a shot. They're sitting 4.5 out, but their window is closing fast. So by tonight, the Padres could be eliminated. They're sitting at 78-80. I mean, they've put together a pretty decent run, but their crappy start really put them way behind the 8 ball. The San Francisco Giants have the same record, but I guess San Diego with tiebreakers, that eliminated San Francisco. So that's your wild card pitcher right now. And I'm going to go ahead and do the power rankings here in 1 second. I got a comment from Paul Spencer. Says Jason Fine says, if anyone refers a client to me at my cell 267-303-7324, they will get $100 if we take the case. Also, no recovery, no fee. And last, we promise you 33 1/3% bottom line case. Plus, if you're in my area, I'll cook you dinner. I guarantee you there's going to be some sort of rice with that food. LOL, or go out to dinner. So there you go, guys. Put it up there one more time. I'll read it one more time. Jason Fine says, if anyone refers a client to me at my cell, 267-303-7324, they will get $100 if we take the case. Also, no recovery, no fee. And last, we promise you 33 1/3% bottom line case. Plus, if you're in my area, I'll cook you dinner or go out to dinner. So Eileen says, I would do that just for Paul to cook cook dinner. His dinners always look good. They do always look good. They look a little spicy a lot of times, but they always do look pretty good. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and do the. Buffering is killing me. All right. Show. I clicked it. There it is. Oh, man. Things are running slow here in the back cave. Things are running slow. Tommy Pham is going to be pissed. All right. So you can see the power rankings there. I'm going to run them off from 10 to 1 and get the hell out of here before I snap, before I lose my marbles. Number 10, we have the Twinkies, the Twins. Clinched the Central, which is, they're going back to the playoffs. Congratulations, but the Central has not been exactly a juggernaut this year. So the Twins, they were not ranked last week. They're sitting at 84-73, 7-3 in their last 10. They've won 2 in a row. So kind of heading towards the end of the season here, a little bit hot. Like I said, you make it into the tournament, everybody's 0-0. You just don't know what could happen. Number 9, I have the Astros. They were last ranked 7th, so they dropped a couple spots. They're 86-72, 3-7 in their last 10. They've lost 1 in a row. A tough time to start stumbling here for the Astros. 8, we have the Brewers. They were last ranked 5th, so they dropped a couple spots. 88-69, 5-5 in their last 10. Losers of 2 in a row. Losers. Number 7, we got the Blue Jays. I had them ranked 6th last week, so they dropped 1 spot, 87-70, 7-3 in their last 10. They lost 1 in a row. Number 6, I have the Rangers. They were last ranked 10th, so they jumped up a bunch of spots at 88-69, 6-4 in their last 10. They lost 1 in a row. They've been playing very, very well as late. That's why I jumped them up so far, because I do like the Rangers. I do like their roster. The pitching staff is kind of iffy. With injuries and stuff like that, but I do like the Rangers. They can score a lot of runs. Number 5, I have the Phillies. And number 5, they're last ranked 8th, so they jumped up 3 spots. Adam Glenn's probably at home throwing confetti in the air right now because he couldn't wait. He wanted to see where his Phillies were going to be, so he's probably his handfuls of confetti, just throwing it up, spinning in circles and dancing in his confetti. They're 88-69, 8-2 in their last 10, winners of 6 in a row. One of the hottest teams in the league, if not the hottest team in the league. Number 4, the Rays. They were ranked 4 last time, 96-62, 5-5 in their last 10. They've won 1 in a row. That doesn't even make any sense. Number 3, the Dodgers. They were ranked 3rd last time, 97-60, 7-3 in their last 10. They have a win streak of 1. I have the Orioles at number 2. They were last ranked 1, so I just flip-flopped them in the Braves, and they're 98-59, 7-3 in their last 10, winners of 3 in a row, and I have the Braves sitting at top with 101 wins, same total as last year, 56 losses, 5-5 in their last 10, with a win streak of 2. Count them, 2. All right, we got a couple comments here before I get the hell out of here and go to bed. So, like I said, my good buddy Paul here, he, does the overlays and all the videos and stuff like that for us. And of course, you got to get that dig in there. He's a Braves fan, but he has to get that dig in there. The honorable mention there at the Mets, they are way down the list, so it's not even an honorable mention. We'll do a mention, but there's not even an honorable mention for the Mets this year. It's been a rough go. So, when I first checked the overlay out for the power rankings, I seen honorable mention. It's like, oh, he's poking. He's poking. You're going to need Jane. I'm going to get the $100, so I'm going to refer the case of me beating your ass, Paul. We got Eileen says the Twins are happy they don't have to see the Yankees for once. Yeah. Well, the Yankees, what they lost? How many in a row to the Yankees? What was it? I don't remember what it was. It was a lot of games in a row. And I think they ended that last year, but I could be wrong. Or was it earlier this year? Something like that. But the Twins lost a lot of games in a row to the Yankees. Paul says, let's go Braves. Let's not be the Boston Bruins. Elite season and goodbye, party's over. Yes, that's one thing. You go throughout a season kind of coasting through. You have everything wrapped up by June, July, and you kind of coast through the rest of the season. Still winning a lot of games and still playing top level, and then go and shit to bed in the first round of the playoffs like the Boston Bruins did in the NHL last year. You don't want to do that. You don't want to be one of those teams that have a great season and just aren't able to finish it off. So, which the Braves are used to. They've had a lot of great seasons, a lot of the division NL East, NL East banners as far as the eye could see. Not too many World Series trophies though. So, just saying. That's one thing I have to look forward to right now. The Braves having this great season, another banner up in the rafters that says NL East champions, and that's it. Nothing else. No World Series, nothing. I'll take that. That'll make me happy. Kind of like the Broncos giving up 70 points to the Dolphins. That made me happy. The Raiders lost, but you know what? My heart was not totally broken. The Raiders lost to the Steelers because the Broncos lost 70-20. Hate the Broncos. Hate the Braves. So it's the little things in life. All right, so real quick before I get out of here, I'm going to do our the Out of the Box Sports show schedule read here. Let me get the banner off. All right. Let me moisten my mouth here. Mondays, we got Joystick Junkies for all you gamers out there. And the Soli Squad talking Philadelphia sports. Tuesdays, Commanders Gridiron talking Washington, the Washington Commanders football team, talking Commanders football. And then also Extra Innings podcast on Tuesdays talking all Major League Baseball. Then Wednesdays, of course, you got the Bat Cave, 10 a.m. Fuji's Philly Flair, which should be coming up, should be returning very soon here, talking Philadelphia entertainment and sports. College Football Frenzy with Paul and Bill Furman, talking college football, obviously. And then to finish off Wednesday, Wednesdays are busy here at Out of the Box Sports. To finish off Wednesday, Dem 215 boys talking Dallas Cowboys football. So make sure you check that out if you're a Cowboys fan. Thursdays, you have the NFL Weekly Pick'em show with Paul and Danny on Wheels, where they pick the games. It's pretty, the names right there. Also Thursdays, you have the NFC East War Room, where you have each team from the NFC East represented, and they kind of go back and forth with each other on their team. Who's best, who's worse, who's doing this, doing that, matchups for the week and all that stuff. A lot of fun watching that show. Then to be announced monthly, you'll have the Old School Show. You already did the 86 Mets. I was a part of that with Joe Sullivan. They did the 93 Phillies, which was a good show. And up next, I believe they'll be doing the the 90s Cowboys and 49ers rivalry. So that should be a lot of fun because there's great games. In the 90s there between the Niners and the Cowboys. They always seem to come down to those two teams. Fridays, the Atomic Drop podcast. We will not be on this Friday. We will be on Saturday, 10:30 p.m. Friday, the family and I are going to Hershey again. And then Saturday, I do have a wedding, but we should be back before 10:30 p.m. So we're going to do the Atomic Drop podcast 10:30 p.m. on Saturday this week. And I'll be doing the Silver and Black Lair, not Saturday. I'll be doing it Friday, 11:30 p.m. Friday night, the Silver and Black Lair. So a little flip-flop of the schedule there. So Saturdays, you have the Golden Dome podcast, 11 a.m., talking Notre Dame fighting Irish football. Pregame, and Paul also does a postgame after the game. I know last week after that great game between them and Ohio State, it's a bummer anybody had to lose that game, but I know Paul was on after, I think it was like 11 or 11:30 doing the postgame for that show. So always stay tuned to see when the post game is going to be. And like I said, the Silver and Black Lair will be on Friday. The Atomic Drop will be on Saturday. I'll put out a reminder and stuff like that and a promo video. Sunday, you'll have the Big Blue Power Hour, talking New York Giants football. And then you'll have the Dem 215 boys doing a Dallas Cowboys pregame. Coming soon, you'll have Rangers on Ice. I assume that's going to be with Danny, talking New York Rangers hockey. And Sixers post-game live. So if you're into the 76ers, I think Paul will be doing that with Joe Sullivan hopping on occasionally, talking 76er basketball after their games. So full schedule. We got something for everybody. Check us out on Facebook, YouTube, X, formerly known as Twitter, and Twitch. We're also on the Instagram, TikTok, all forms of social media. Check us out. Like, follow, subscribe. Hit that notification bell for the love of God, so you know when we're coming on, because, sometimes, we say we're going to be out there, like, myself, the Atomic Drop 10:30 on Friday, not this week. So make sure you hit that notification bell, and we'll let you know. Your telephone will let you know when we're going to be on. It'll like, oh, hey, the Atomic Drop's on, stuff like that. So, all right, so that's our schedule. And if there's something out there you want to see done, like, a show like, I have, my team is the, the Seattle Sea Chickens, from the football, from NFL, I want to see a Seattle Sea Chickens show. Well, you know what? Contact us. We'll get you set up. We'll point you in the right direction and help you out there, and you can have your own Seattle Sea Chickens show. So yeah. So we got a couple comments here before I get the hell out of here. Eileen says, next show, I'd like to hear your post-season predictions. I will be. I will be doing it as soon as everything's all set up. Next show, I will be doing post-season predictions. I did that last year as well, and didn't. I was nowhere near. I did have the Phillies going to the World Series last year. I said it for the longest time. During the season if you go back and watch old episodes of the Batcave, original episodes, I said the one team that's the scariest team in the league right now is the Phillies. And at that time, they're, barely scratching and clawing to fight for that last spot in the wild card. They're in, they're out, they're in, they're out. And lo and behold, they were the scariest team in the National League, at least anyway. So I didn't have the Astros going. I don't know. Maybe I did have the Astros going. I don't know. I don't remember. I definitely had the Phillies getting there. Drunk Ken for the podcast should be interesting. I'm drunk all the time. I got a drinking problem. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, so that's going to be interesting after the wedding. If I do have a couple adult beverages or not, it is pretty far away. I think it's an hour. The reception's like an hour or so away. The wedding, the church part of it is 55 minutes away in Jim Thorpe, PA, and then from Jim Thorpe to Dallas, PA. So it's a bit of traveling. So if I do get a buzz on, by the time I get home, it'll be gone probably. Maybe, I don't know. So make sure you check the show out Saturday night to see if I'm drunk or not. There you go. Something to look forward to. All right, everybody. I'm getting the hell out of here. Thanks for checking the show out. Be sure to check me out, like I said, Friday night, the Silver and Black Lair, 11:30 p.m. Saturday, 10:30 p.m., the Atomic Drop podcast, talking WWE wrestling. The Silver and Black Lair is, of course, the Raiders and LA Kings hockey. And the Batcave will be back again next Wednesday, 10 a.m. Same bat time, that channel. Thanks for checking the show out. Thanks for commenting. I appreciate every single one of you. I'll see you guys later.